so much amazing cosplay. What We Do in the Shadows has had an amazing 5-season run, with its 6th and final season debuting this month. We are very sad about this, but we're not here to be sad. We're here to celebrate the incredible legacy of the show. And there's no better way to celebrate the show than with 2 amazing, hilarious, talented cast members. So everyone, please put your hands together for Kristen Schaal and Harvey Guillén.
You guys, this is Kristen's first official LA Comic-Con. Let's say hi, Kristen!
Thanks, Harvey. Thanks, Cruz.
Hi! Hi! That's my fucking guy! Can I say that? Those kids here. Sorry.
So, Kristen, first LA Comic-Con, how was it feeling?
It's feeling very San Diego.
There are a lot of
But
people
in its
here.
own way. It's its own way.
Yeah. I love the enthusiasm, and I don't want to distract people from shopping,
No.
but
They
it's
can't
been
hear
great.
us. They can't hear us.
Okay.
No.
Well, can we just enjoy Harvey's outfit as always?
Dazzling.
I wanted to be comfy. I feel like LA is home. So I want to feel homey. Yeah.
You're both glittering. Like
Yeah,
there's a
we're
lot of
both
shininess
shimmering.
going on.
Yeah, we didn't plan this, but we coordinated.
Yeah. I can't take this off.
There you go. Woo!
Yes,
I was hoping for some cheers. Thank you.
LA. So you both had
Thirsty.
very different journeys to What We Do in the Shadows. I would love to hear your origin stories.
Well, Guillermo started off as a familiar servant to Nandor, and unbeknownst to me, he was a Van Helsing by the end of season 1. So that was really nice to see the trajectory. The writers have been really great. We have the best writers. We have Sarah Naftalis, Stephanie Robinson, and Paul Sims. Everyone's really great. So they've given me so much to play with as Guillermo. So I've been really lucky to have that trajectory. And the guide has...
Are you talking about our characters or our own origin stories?
Both, either and or.
So I was born on a farm in Colorado, and there wasn't a lot of theatrical arts going on around there, so I had to leave. I went to Chicago, and then I found my way in New York, where I got the job on Flight of the Conchords. And who was working on Flight of the Conchords? None other than Paul Sims, who's been the showrunner of this, and Jermaine, who wrote the original movie with Taika, What We Do in the Shadows. And so, about when they were filming season 1, Last Man was wrapping up, and Jermaine wrote a part for me to play the guide.
Yeah.
And it was just supposed to be one episode, and then after season 2, Paul Sims decided to bring in a storyline of the guide working in the Vampire Council and all the administrative stuff that goes on there. So they brought her back for season 3, and then I've just been playing around with them here and there for 3, 4, and 5, and then in 6.
Oh.
Is there a season 6?
There is.
Oh,
October 21st.
I'm in a couple episodes in season 6.
No, you're more than a couple.
3 or 4. And that's it, right?
That's it. Yeah, and I met you while I was filming season 1.
Yeah.
That's how we became friends, and that's
Yeah.
when I was so excited to have her. Kristen brings such really positive energy to the set.
I do.
Like when and she's so modest, that it's lovely to have her. And so every time we get to play with the guide and have you on set, it really kind of like makes us like, yay!
Yeah. Harvey and I clicked instantly over poutine because we shot it in Toronto,
Yeah.
and we had a song that we would sing while we were
People
building our own
requested.
poutine. It's okay.
It's okay. People requested. I'm
Building my own poutine. I'm building my own poutine. It's kind of
Incredible.
We have an album coming out.
Oh my God, it would be so fun to go on tour with you. Didn't we come up with there was like a big changeover on a set in the Vampiric Council, and we came up with this song about being a country girl not understanding New York. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I'm just a country girl
Yeah, I
in
don't
the
remember.
big city.
Yeah, we'll have to revisit.
That's
Anyways,
our second album coming out.
you better ask more questions.
After all
Yeah.
second
All the
albums
time.
work, but yeah.
So clearly, you guys are great friends. What's the most meaningful part of this whole experience now that you've wrapped?
Friendships. I think the friendships that you make. I think same with like Kayvon, like is one of my closest friends now. Like we text every week, and it's just nice to be.
Well, we can text every week. That's easy.
Okay.
There's not a lot of work in texting every week.
But you don't
Is
have
that
to.
a friendship?
Is it?
Is that a friendship now?
I'm just thinking like the overall,
Oh,
like,
no.
I feel like I don't text like every day with Matt Berry, you know what I mean? Like I don't text with like
You
Matt.
don't?
I don't.
Drama.
Barry and I are like,
I feel like
we
he's
can't
busy.
stop
He's
texting.
always creating music and whatnot. But with Kayvon, he'll just text me like a random picture and it's like a joke and whatnot. And Kristen will text me and say, hey, I can't come to your party or something.
Yeah, I can't come. I can't come to your party. I would say the friendships are great. And also, what was the question, Tiffany?
What was the question?
The most meaningful part of the
Most
experience.
meaningful. I've said this before, but this show, what we do in the shadows. Sorry, this is a bit you signed for all your projects, and it's really lovely. But I'm a little scrambled. For what we do in the shadows, the most meaningful thing was that we were able to make like a very true, surreal, zany comedy with heart, with hard laughs, with vampires and all kinds of like mythological beings in a live action that I still pinch myself that I was able to be a part of a project like this, and I hope that there will be more of them in the future in the lines of creativity and otherworldliness and comedy. I think comedy is kind of getting disrespected a little bit these days. It's such a good art form. It's such a powerful, hard thing to do. And I don't know, it's meaningful to be in a comedy. Where's my soapbox?
You mentioned, yeah.
You talk.
No, I love what you said because it's true. We get to play, the only human on the show is Guillermo, and every other is a vampire, mythical creature, which is really cool to bounce off of. But for me, it was a challenge because it's an actor. You have to be the straight man.
You're such a good straight man.
I'm a
You
straight
are
man.
such a lovely straight man.
Those are
You
words
are
I've never
so
heard
solid.
before. Words I've never heard. Very nice,
Yeah.
because it's so hard with these guys because Guillermo has to always talk no louder than a soft whisper, so his voice is always here. So it's so hard to act across from them when they're so wonderful and bigger than life, and you want to match their energy, and you're like, I can't, I'm a human, bring it down. And so for me, it was a good challenge, and I'm so lucky to have made such great friends and work on a show.
Texting once a week, you
I
guys.
didn't text once a week. I don't text once a week. I also FaceTime and people ignore it.
Oh, I did FaceTime you when you were stuck at the train station.
Oh, she did. She did trains. Yeah, I was stuck. I was snowed in. Yeah, and she FaceTimed me to check up on me.
New question, quick.
New question. I never made it out of the train station. I'm a ghost.
You did it!
Kristen, you mentioned working in the supernatural. Do you guys have a favorite scene that you filmed with the supernatural that was interesting or fun?
I mean, I always come back to the box store episode where the sire was chasing us through the city and then into the box store. There's a moment that it's a man inside it, and it's also being puppeteered, and there's a lot of elements. But there's the moment where he was like standing on top of like an aisle of beach towels or whatever it was, and where I was like, yeah. I was like, that was a very fun mythological creature for sure.
Like
the genie's good too.
Oh, yes.
The genie is so funny. But bargaining over the penis.
Yes.
Oh,
As
that
one
scene
does.
is- Wow.
I think mine was the night market. I feel like that one was full. Like we had fairies and witches. Like we had everything there, so it was kind of cool. Like everything we shot there was like, whoa, really cool. And we got to do all those stunt scenes, so it was really fun. Yeah.
That sounds really cool. Kristen, you also mentioned comedy. Has there been a bit that you guys have done that got cut from the show that like is your favorite bit that you're just like, oh, if only it made it in?
I think one of my favorite early bits that got cut was a scene with Kristen when, I think it was your first episode, we're walking down the hallway with the flames on the walls, like the sticks, what do you call those? Flame, sticks, fire? Torches. Wow. So torches on the wall, and I touch one, and then Kristen turns around, I think you improvise the scene, and you're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing, just he's like, don't touch the fire. The fire marshal would have a fit.
Well, that's still in there.
No, but you did an elongated version.
Oh, yeah.
There was a take where she did that, and it was so long. It was so good, and I think for a time they made it really sharp, clean, funny. But I liked the one where she elongated it, and that was my take that didn't make it. That I thought was fun.
Oh, God bless you, Harvey, and God bless the editors.
What's yours?
Oh man. I mean, there was so much that happened in the club with Naja that got cut. Lots of like club stuff, but I can't think of anything specific. But there were some. There was a lot. They shot a lot. They cut a lot. That's all. A lot of nights that will go unshown. Yeah.
The show has had so many guest stars, amazing guest stars over the years. Who's your favorite guest star that you've worked with?
It's a real Sophie's choice.
I know. I mean, this season was exciting because we have Mike O'Brien from AP Bio as playing a very big part, and then also Steve Coogan. I think I can say because he was in the trailer. That was exciting. Everybody is smaller than you think.
I think my favorite, only because they were so great and like we're still friends today, is Haley Joel Osment. That Topher. He just was really lovely, and that was early. And then to this day, he texts me, and he sends me his Christmas. He makes these like peanut butter balls for Christmas, and he sends those to me.
You know who's been real in touch with me that's guest starred is Mark Hamill. He just checks in. He checks in, and I appreciate that.
He checks on me too.
Does he?
Yeah.
Chris Sanford, who played Derek.
Yes, he
he's
speaks
been
Italian.
guest starred. Oh, he speaks Italian.
He's always texting me in Italian. So.
Yeah.
You both worked on the show for quite a while. What were your last few days on set like?
Harvey was a mess. I was like, get it together, you have a job to do, remember? And you were like,
Yes.
What it was, I think everybody had been told that the show is ending before we started filming, which is unusual.
Christmas Eve.
It wasn't at that
It was.
close, but
It was 2 days before Christmas Eve.
Yeah, and Mark Berry said, "Oh well,
Merry Christmas.
Effing Christmas."
Merry effing Christmas.
So I think the whole tone of not just the last few days was a little bit like, oh, it's over, let's really enjoy it. But it was weird. Especially at the end, like we shot that scene, you and I and Mike O'Brien in the library, and they're like, cut, we got it, and then you just hear the drills as they take the set apart.
Tearing it
still
down.
sitting there, like I was about to get up,
Yeah,
and the wall was coming down. They're like, we're out of here.
And then I think at that point you and I grabbed a whole bunch of books from the library.
I didn't grab books, but
I
I
did
got
not either.
Paul Rubens' portrait.
I did not
got
either.
Paul Rubens' portrait. You know I don't read.
Oh
And,
yeah. You did.
And Stephanie, I got
You got Stephanie
Stephanie's
too?
portrait, and she has it now.
Oh, she
I
has
just gave it to Guillen this morning.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's a nice gifts. Yeah. No, I think for me it was sad just because I won't give too much, but in the last episode, it's a very emotional scene for Guillermo, and it was and I talked to Paul about this recently, and I was like, did you purposely schedule that to be the last scene of the last day? He's like, absolutely. And I was like, why would you do that? Because it was so much happening in the show, but also we're wrapping this show that's been part of our lives for almost 7 years. And to me, it was like so sad, and like what was happening with the characters and what was happening with me, and like, you know, and so like it was just a sad all around. And last week or this week, I recorded the last ADR for Guillermo, and it was that scene. So they had to match the emotion of that scene. They just need to change a line. So they
you were already over it.
No,
so it's so hard to get there.
But I was like, I had to get there mentally.
He's like in 2 movies now. He's
Oh
filming
my
like
God.
flying to Spain today.
No, I was literally.
I'm jealous of this man.
I was literally mentally getting into it, so I was already crying because I had to get into it. And then after we were done, Yana Gorskaya, who's our director, was like, that's it, you're done with Guillermo. And I was like, what? He's like, that's it, that's the last time you'll ever do Guillermo. And I was like, "Ugh," and I was just like
And
emotional.
don't you think there should be a Guillermo Nandor spinoff?
Yes. Yes.
And I say those two because I know for sure they would do it. Also,
We would. I would love
also
to.
Laszlo and Najo, of course, but
Yeah. No,
where
no sound.
did you just buy this at Disneyland?
Yeah, I bought this at Disney World.
Disney World?
Disney World.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's no way they would sell that in California. It's so good. I know. I'm like eyeing it. I'm eyeing it. I want one for myself.
It's so comfy, and we were in the green room, and it was so cold, and I was like, I want to be comfy, and I feel LA is the only place I'm gonna be comfortable. I live here. I love LA, so.
I know. We should talk about more important things, but Harvey is becoming a fashion icon. That's all I'm gonna say.
Especially with the looks that I
choose. It's hard work. It's hard work, and you're doing the
Yeah,
work.
sometimes I have to dress up for an event, and then sometimes I like to be casual.
You're
and
still dressed up.
still just dressed up.
Help us, Tiffany.
And I mean, your hair also matches.
And
I feel like.
it
all matches.
matching.
It all matches.
Yeah, there you go.
We're gonna jump to fan questions in a moment, but one last question.
I didn't know you guys had questions.
One last question.
I'm blabbing.
As we head into season 6, what do you want the fans to take away from the show?
Just texting.
Text
yeah.
more.
Just text your
Yeah,
friends.
text your friends.
I always say just to keep all the costumes and just keep being creative and living in your fantasies. I think those are the most precious things humans have. And just liking the show is a connection to something greater than us, and not that the show is, you know what I mean? I just think our imaginations are important, and I hope you encourage your imaginations for all things.
Yes.
Thanks. I need to.
I second that. Yeah, I second that. I think that we have the best fans in the world, and I'm always like so impressed of how creative. I mean, we've seen the homoerotic art online, and it is so good. It's so good. I encourage you to continue to do that. I encourage you to be creative, and I'm glad that the show means a lot to all of you, and I'm surprised, that more comedies haven't been doing that, where they make someone feel comfortable enough to laugh. But this show has brought people together, brought families that were not talking for years. The show brought people together in a weird way that's really nice to see, and I love hearing those stories when you come to our table and tell me about I haven't talked to my dad in 10 years, and this show brought us together, or this is the show that my mom introduced.
Talking about Kim's Convenience?
No, not talking about. I'm talking about what we do in the shadows. But it's really nice to see it and hear it, and I love all the effort that all of you put. And I'm seeing people in cosplay, dressed up. You see a Naja in the audience. You see people dressed up as the characters, and it really warms my heart because I know that takes time, and it takes time and effort and energy. And I'm just glad that you connect and resonate with the show. So continue to do that, even though the show has ended. The legacy of the show hasn't, so you continue to live and be a part of this world. So thank you.
All right, let's see if we can get some fan questions. I think right up there. Oh, sorry. Yes, this person right there.
Hello.
First of all, I absolutely love the both of you. I just love you guys so much. This question's for you, Kristen. We have seen you do so much recently. You've been Louise, which everybody loves. You've been in Last Man on Earth, which is a great show as well. Is this just you playing the characters as yourself every time you do one, or do you like make new characteristics for the characters, or reserve anything else, or are you just like, this is me, I'm going all in, this is how it is?
Well, I hope I'm not like some of the, no. The answer is, I'm such a good actor. I really do lean into the script, like the writers are writing such good, rich material for the characters, and so they're giving me. Are you saying I play the same character in everything I do? You know, that's my biggest fear. It is my voice, but it's also Harvey's doing his same voice every time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Same, like different. Yeah, I was just born with this voice, and
But I think it's so important to, and I don't want to step in here, but Kristen is such a brilliant actress that she gets to play so many things because she has such a distinguished voice, but her choices as a character, like when I see the guide and I see your work on other shows, it's not the same choices. And so when I see her, I'm like, yes, it might be the same similar familiar voice that you have heard, but Kristen's choices for each character I've always seen are completely different than the choices from the last character, which is very nice, and it's very hard for an actor to do. So I think we should give her credit where credit is due.
Thank you for your question. I think
Next question.
Right
I'm
here
gonna make a
behind me.
fortune. Oh, my question's for Kristen. What's one of your favorite moments from Gravity Falls?
I see there's a dipper that got in the
hat.
copy machine. My favorite moments from Gravity Falls. Thank you for asking. I mean, I love all of them. I love the one where the boy band becomes gerbils, you know, because I grew up loving New Kids on the Block. But I also just love the moment where she, not to spoil it, decides to trust her Uncle Stan. I think that moment, the way they built it with the animation and everything was pretty huge. And just overall in general, I would say my best moments is just being Mabel, because she is positive, she is lovely, she is ready to say yes, and she's ready to trust. And those are all characteristics that are believable in people, but are getting a little bit lost in what we see. And anyways, I would go into the booth maybe feeling kind of down, and I would walk out of the booth after recording Mabel's lines on top of the world. She's very infectious, I think. So I guess every word out of Mabel's mouth is my favorite moment.
Beautiful
I
answer.
also did an escape room with Jason Ritter, and just like Dipper, he was very good at it.
Who did you mirror Mabel after? Like, who?
Myself.
Oh. Let me ask that question again. Who did you mirror? Oh, okay.
Thank you for your question. How about up here, the Naja?
Naja.
So, in the context of like comedies, what sort, if you were able to do it, if there was a musical like theater episode, what would be like your go-to like to spoof, do you think, for your characters? Like any musical, it could be Disney, you know, or any musical theater that has been put on stage. What would be your preferred if you were done a theater episode?
Musical episode.
What would be our musical inspiration for the characters we're playing on What We Do in the Shadows?
If you had done like a special like musical episode.
If we had a musical episode, what would the, I think,
I mean, probably be Cabaret.
Cabaret would be great.
Yeah.
That and like Spring Awakening for Guillermo. Yeah.
Stand
the
on a
bitch
chair.
of living. Guillermo saying, it's a bitch of living. That would be great.
Yeah, that's good.
Cabaret.
I mean, Cabaret has that dark tone, I guess. Yeah, that's what I would say. Maybe Into the Woods a little bit, because it's all like fairy tale-ish.
So Good.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Thank you for your question.
Next question.
I think right here with the mustache.
Who's this?
Sorry, Kristen? Hi! You're amazing! Oh yeah, I have a hat. I thought it'd make more sense.
Oh.
I'm supposed to be back by doing that. But I wanted to know what your favorite inappropriate line was in Flight of the Conchords when you were trying to pick up on the boys, or just the most stalkerish thing. You were incredible in there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I had so much fun doing that show. It was my first break. And I would say, I would not know if it's the lines as much as the inappropriate touching that I would get to do, like in the car when I'm in the between them and I'm sleeping, but I'm so sleepy. That was probably the best.
The best for her. Yeah.
Thank you for your question. How about up here?
Oh, so much. My favorite episode is when Guillermo comes out to his family, and the entire show was just so queer. And I want to know, how important do you think it is that it's such an LGBT-focused show?
Yeah. Let's hear it for Guillermo coming out. I think it's very important. I think that the show has always been queer without making an announcement. I think that's a good way of putting it. I think that Paul and Stephanie and Sarah and everyone has done a great job of doing that, where Guillermo's story was his to tell. And even the idea that the housemates were asking him questions about come on, you cheeky little, it's come on, you have a girlfriend? You stinky, those questions, when people want to know your sexuality, it's for them. And the idea that people come out, when someone comes out, I don't even know using that term, because coming out means that you just woke up and be like, you know what, I'm going to tell everyone. It's you thought about this as a process of whoa, what's this going on? How can I feel this way? So it shouldn't be called coming out, it should be called letting you in. So when someone lets you in, and what you do with that information is so valuable. It's what you do with that information can hinder your relationship, could hurt someone, could put them in danger, And so when Guillermo came out, he really kind of let them in. He knew who he was, but you were bugging him about it. And he did it because both the people that he loved, both his chosen family and both his, biological family, were in danger. His Van Helsing family wanted to kill Nadja. And so he stepped in the middle and was like, stop, don't kill her, you can't kill her. And she's not my girlfriend because I'm gay. And the idea that he used it as a shield, and he shouldn't have to use it as a shield, but he did to protect two people that he loved, the family that he came from and the chosen family that he had made. So he used his self as a shield, and I thought that was so brave of him. But we shouldn't have to use our sexuality, as a shield. We should be able to tell people when we're ready, and someone's sexual orientation is none of your business unless they want to share it with you.
Thank you for your question. Next out here in the black hat costume.
Hi. Okay, so we are in the middle of Latino Heritage Month, and we're also in spooky season. So my question is, what is it you think about Latino culture that is kind of gothy? Because I feel like myself and all my Latino friends, we're all a little bit gothy, and the media that comes out, that's my favorite type of media, that's Latino media, is also very gothy. So what is it about our culture that you feel lends itself to kind of these gothic storytelling?
I think it's a great question. I think that just by origin story, Latino culture are great storytellers, and I think that we, I remember growing up and listening to stories of La Llorona and Chupacabra, stuff that you would it's taught for a lesson, but it's this mythical storytelling that happens around a campfire, but also it's taught to teach children discipline, and it puts it's you better not, el cucuy's gonna get you, and you're I don't want to meet the cucuy, but I think that I think we lend into it because I think for so long, it being, Latino and also being queer, we're always seen as outsiders and we're not welcome to the party. In the past, we've always felt that we weren't welcome. And so we've created this world where it's we can tell stories. We are storytellers ourselves of our past and our heritage and our culture. And I think that it's always funny when you think of those monster movies where the people who are chasing the monster is the person who's not, the the person who doesn't belong or the outsider. And for so long, Latino people have felt like an outsider and like they don't belong. So we're the ones being chased all the time, you know? But you have to stop and think about like even the Frankenstein scenario where like when Frankenstein's being chased by the townspeople, who's the real monster? You know, the person who's chasing them or the person who's just living their life. And you were just thought they were so weird and put off by like, oh my God, I don't understand it. It's different. It scares me. So we're scared by things that, you know, we don't understand, but maybe we just took a time to learn about someone's culture. We see that we have more in common and love of, you know, horror and love of goth and love of fear. We have more in common than we think.
Yeah. Well, also Frankenstein was written by Mary Shelley.
I know.
More in common.
More in common than we think.
Thank you for your question. Yes.
So I am a massive fan of both Bob's Burgers and What We Do in the Shadows. So my question is, what member of the Belcher family do you think would get along best with the What We Do in the Shadows, like vampires or Guillermo, or who do you think would be like best friends and worst enemies?
But who of the Belcher family would get along best with the What We Do in the Shadows crew? Instantly Linda. Linda would have so much fun with she has fun everywhere she goes. She's one of my favorite characters of all time. I think Linda would have the best time. And Louise, obviously, because she would be ready to go like hunting with them and stay up all night. Tina would be in love with them, right? She would have like major crushes on all of them. And then Gene would be pretty oblivious. He might hang out with Guillermo.
Yeah. We'd be friends.
And Bob probably would not want to deal. Yeah.
Thank you for your question. Where is... I've lost the
There's
mic.
a Naja over there too.
Good.
Oh, over here.
Good
Is
one.
Naja right there?
Yes.
Oh no, they missed her right here.
Oh.
She's Naja right there.
Oh.
There she is. She's coming to the front. Naja.
There we go.
There's a rumor that Abbott Elementary and Always Sunny is going to have a crossover. If you guys were to have a crossover, what show would it be?
The bear. Hacks. Who could we go? What
Hacks
world
would be fun.
What world could we? I guess we could go into any world. The bear would be pretty funny.
Comedy with comedy.
Yeah, but like.
Why are you laughing?
Just being in a restaurant. What else? What other? What?
I like
Gotta be a
Hacks.
really good
Hacks is
answer.
good.
Hacks is pretty funny if they
Yeah.
tried to get into the comedy, stand-up comedy world, and because that happens at night. So I like that, and then they get into the whole PR of it all and that kind of thing.
That's it.
Hacks.
Hacks.
Thank you for your question. I think right here there's a person.
So my question is, obviously this is an adaptation from the movie, and a lot of times when adaptations happen, whether it's a TV show or a sequel or whatever it might be, the audience is kind of apprehensive and a little like, I don't know. How did you feel any nerves starting this show, knowing that like you were already having this audience from the movie, and then how does it feel knowing that the show was so successful and there's some people who might not even know the original now and they know the show?
Great question. I mean, I didn't start on the show. You did, Harvey, but I will say, I think the movie was a cult hit. So there was probably you and maybe your group of friends that knew about the movie. I hope. Sorry, Jermaine and Tyga, if that's not true, but it wasn't like
Yeah, they're coming in over here.
huge. It's a huge hit. No, so I think because it was beloved but not a blockbuster, probably helped for the spin-off to not feel like the hatred of the fans. And your hatred is real. We feel it. They feel.
Yeah, there was a fear of going into the show that people who were obviously fans of the movie, they're like, already coming in with like, I'm not gonna like this at all, you know, oh, I can't wait to fall in your face kind of thing. We're like, hey, we're in the same world, but we're different, you know, characters, where no one's trying to replace anyone. And it helped that Taika and Jermaine kind of, you know, give their seal of approval, because they directed a couple of the first episodes, and it was in their vision. They created this world, so they wouldn't pass the baton over unless they felt comfortable. So it was nice that it took a second. I think that by the first season, people were like, all right, I like it, you know. But it did take a second. But I think if you liked us, you liked us for a completely different reason. I think the vibe of our crew and cast is so different. With the movie, it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And with us, the trajectory of 5 seasons, and who knows, you know, how many more you could think of storylines, because you do live in the world where anything's possible. So every season we come back and we have this new year, and we're like, how lucky we are that we have such great writers that every year it gets funnier. It's so funny. We're still in this world. We're living and breathing in this world. So
There's a few more women in the TV show.
That part. But that's why we were so excited when you joined the cast. Because for so long it was Natasha, and you know, we were like, we need more female representation, and here comes Kristen.
Found one more vagina.
And then we said that's enough.
Thank you for your question. Here in the What We Do in the Shadows shirt.
Well, yeah, you got that from
From
Comic-Con San Diego, yeah.
Hi guys, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for 6 seasons of an amazing show. I just wanted to ask, you guys have put so much love into your characters and so much work into the show. What is like a word of wisdom or like a lesson you guys would like the audiences to take away from your characters?
From our characters, I mean, I would say don't settle for the guide.
I would say always know your worth. Yeah, always know your worth, and know that, like, even though you have a plan ahead of you, you're like, this is the way my life is supposed to be, sometimes the universe has an even bigger plan that you couldn't even dreamed of. So always go with the flow, you know, see what happens, but never, don't settle. That's a good one too.
Love it.
Don't settle.
Love it.
Don't love it. I love it. Don't touch me.
Okay. That's fair.
Thank you for your question. Off what you just said, were you surprised at the big plot twist last season when the plan that Guillermo has for the whole show kind
Yeah,
of
I mean, I
changes?
was surprised when we wrapped it season 5, and it was like Guillermo got what he wanted. And sometimes, like I said, when you get your wish, it's not what the universe was like. You can't. It's literally not in your veins. Like, you have Van Helsing blood running through you. And I think the backstory I give Guillermo is that he fell in love with the idea of being a vampire because he was bullied a lot in school. And the idea of being a vampire is you get to stay young forever. You like immortalize in that like age, whatever age that you become a vampire. And you get to live forever, so you have income. You can get income for the centuries. Then you wear these fabulous clothes. So he wanted to be his best version of himself, and he thought being a vampire was a great way to, you know, showcase that. But it wasn't that. It was just that he had to deal with his own sexuality, his self-confidence, his self-worth, and he wanted an excuse to be able to be all those things. You don't need to be a vampire to be the best version of yourself. You can be the best version of yourself today.
Also amazing advice. A couple more.
Are you starting a cult?
Mammals.
I think we have someone in the Winter Soldier outfit there.
Hi, I just had a question. There used to be the big 3, which was Sherlock Holmes and a bunch of other queer shows known on Tumblr. How does it feel now to know that you guys are part of the new big 3 with Our Flag Means Death and Good Omens?
It feels like we won!
In good company. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for your question. Here right in the front.
Okay, so my question is, I've been really interested in the movie, and there's two new cities that I was looking at, and I was just trying to wonder what was happening in the story, like with the bike and the daughter, and they were like trying to escape. So there was the school I was really interested in and the bus, and I thought it was really funny. I kept trying to remember what the name of the character was. I think it was Bobby. I just really like that character. It's very funny, and the family, and that they were trying to run away. It's a good family movie, and like with like the parents and everything. I think it's new though.
Any thoughts on Bobby? Bobby.
Is this a movie? My Spy? I do play Bobby in My Spy.
Yeah, with the family, and they were trying to run, I think.
What's the question? I'll think of an answer.
I know, it's really hard to explain. Sorry, I think maybe my thought just kind of escaped what I was trying to say.
No worries. They like that movie.
It's okay.
Yeah. Let's hear it from My Spy.
No.
Okay. Thank you. Let's do one more question up here in with the hand raised in the white.
Hello. So, my family really loves this show. I was wondering, how did it feel to be on set? You know, how did you feel like you were treated on set? Because obviously Hollywood, we know how it is, but I feel like you cultivated such a good environment on the show. So how was it for you guys?
Oh, thanks for asking that. I'll say again, you know, Hollywood, you know how it is. I will say, I don't think that's true. I think in a lot of my experiences in Hollywood is everybody is very hardworking, from top to bottom, especially from the bottom. This town and Toronto and everywhere, Georgia, Atlanta, where people are working on sets. You have people working as gaffers and lighters and set designers and props and cameras and sound, and the list goes on, and they work longer hours than my dad, who was a carpenter, and he would get up at 6, but he would come home at 6. Whereas my team players that work on the set of Shadows work really long hours, but everybody does it with really great integrity. So I would just like to say that, well, how it is in Hollywood, there's a lot of people working with lovely integrity. They're hard workers, they're artistic, and they're smart as all get out. And the experience on set is everyone has a really good time. There's a lot of vulnerability, and when you're acting too, I would say there was moments where I felt vulnerable, and I was like, did that work? Was that funny? And maybe I would like stew in my trailer, and I wouldn't open the door for, no, just kidding. No, you know, there's moments where you feel vulnerable, but at the end of the day, there's so many good people surrounding you that everybody involved on this show, and there's hundreds, are just some of the best people you'll ever meet.
Yeah, ditto. I feel like that's true. I feel like you never want to be at a job that you don't want to bump into someone at 5 a.m. after working 16-hour days. And so I think that we're lucky, at least I feel like, you know, we're lucky to work on sets that everyone's in it together. You're like a team. Like the people on Shadows who worked on our show, like they love the show. They literally live and breathe it. The set designer, like, you know, the costumers, everyone, they go above and beyond. Everyone else could easily clock out. I only work 9 to 5 and I'm out at 5. As per my last email, don't interrupt me, you know? Like, but in Hollywood and in our business, you have to love what you're doing because the days are long, you know, and the years are short. And so, like, you miss a lot of birthdays and a lot of, you know, quinceañeras and a lot of graduations because you're doing your craft and you're so blessed to be doing what you love. But
So hard to get jobs.
So hard to get jobs. but it's also hard to stop doing what you love to do, because if you stop doing what you love to do, then you don't get to see your favorite show. And you don't get to see your favorite show if everyone was not doing and working at 150%. So I think that we're very lucky to work with people in our casting crew and in our shows that are very, very in love with what they do. So yeah.
We're lucky. Thank you for watching. We
Thank you
couldn't
for-
do it without you.
Couldn't do it without you!
Thank you for your question, and thank you guys for being such amazing guests. We're all gonna tune in October 21st for season 6. And everyone, please put your hands together for the amazing Kristen Schaal and Harvey Guillén.